Okay, even though times are tough, it is very important to build up an emergency fund. And we have the debt guru, Mike Peterson, here to tell us just how to do that.
Right. In fact, a lot of us dream of financial freedom.
Yeah.
And one of the small steps to getting to financial freedom is to have an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund is basically a stash of money that you set aside for a financial emergency.
So obviously, I guess you have to be disciplined, set so much aside every month.
You really do. And
this isn't something you necessarily put into an investment account, or could you?
Well, you could put it into an investment account, but it's probably not the best place to put it, and the reason why is because an investment account is going to go up or it's going to go down.
Maybe a money market, or
money market is probably the best place to put an emergency fund because you have easy access to it and you're going to earn some interest on it better than you would in a passbook savings. Yeah, not much at this point.
Yeah, what is the interest in a money market now?
Typically around 2.5% at this point, and that fluctuates certainly, but again, definitely better than a passbook savings, and certainly better than stuffing it under your mattress.
So it's a step to financial freedom. How does it all play into it?
Well, what you need to do is set up an emergency fund, and the best way to do that is to take your expenses for a month and figure out what those expenses are for your house, your car, groceries, anything that would be massively painful to do without, and then add those expenses. Once you get that totaled, then times that by 3 or 6. And that's the 3 to 6 months of expenses that you need to have in this emergency fund.
It'd be an eye-opener.
It is an eye-opener, and that's a big number, but don't freak out that it's so big because we're going to build it small. And in fact, a good way to start at this time of the year is to look for your tax refund. Average American will get $2,500 in a tax refund this year. That's a great start for your emergency fund. Typically, yeah, knee-jerk reaction. Let's go spend that money. Well, not this year. Let's put that in an emergency fund and start that rolling. Another thing that you can do is look around the house for items that you don't use or don't need anymore. Put them on eBay. Have a garage sale. Can you do overtime? If you get a bonus at work, put that in the emergency fund. Basically, stop spending the money and start putting little bits at a time away.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, look for things you can sell on eBay.
Right.
I haven't really thought. I've heard of it before, but
there are a lot of creative ways to gain a little bit of income, and adding a little bit at a time adds up into that emergency fund. Another thing that we probably should bring up is what's the definition of emergency fund? The half-yearly sale at Nordstrom's, not an emergency. What you need to be looking for is a financial emergency.
There were job loss or
job loss, anything that's going to cause you to do without your basic necessities. That's an emergency, and at that point you can access that emergency fund.
Well, that's good stuff to know. Now, a lot of people might want to know when to get back. This is off the subject a little bit, but to get back in the market, how can you gauge it when to get back in?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because nobody really knows what the stock market's going to do. If you're out at this stage in time, what I would recommend is go in month to month and dollar cost average in, and you're going to go in now maybe at a low. You might go in at a high next week or next month, at a low the month after, but over time you're going to average, and it's going to be a bigger return for you by dollar cost averaging in versus trying to time the market, which is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Mike, the debt guru, thanks so much for being with us today, and some good advice
we
all need in these